Welcome everyone. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do the Dr. Dre contract solo and easily. So of course, the first thing you will need is an agency. The cheapest one goes for just over $2 million, and to me, location doesn't matter, so feel free to choose whichever one you want. I will say though, I suggest getting the accommodations with it, which is a few $100,000, because then you can set that as a spawn location. The agency also comes with a free helicopter, which you can access by the front desk, so that's another thing to keep in mind. You could use that through all of your missions. Now, in order to unlock the Dre contract, you will have to complete one security contract, but once you've done that, you'll then be able to go over to the golf course and start up the first mission. The first of those two missions is one where you're going to the golf course and you're essentially playing bumper carts with these guys for a little bit. You're going to intimidate them and eventually beat one of them up. Once you're done that, the mission's over. It's very simple. The second mission is going to be where you break into the IAA building. Once again, fairly simple. You're just going to essentially take out enemies and wait for a certain period of time and then take off. There's a little bit more to it than that, but it's very simple. It's very intuitive. Now, for your first time through, there will be some time between each mission that you have to wait, because you're going to have to wait for Franklin to call you up. The way to speed that up that I found is to exit the agency and just wait outside of the agency. If you're doing stuff in game while waiting for this call to happen, I found it took longer. So just wait outside the agency for maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes in real time, and then eventually he will call you. And with that being said, it is now time to get into the core of the Dr. Dre contract. Before you do that though, there's a few things that I would suggest having. One, make sure you stock up on snacks. They are completely free and available to you in the agency on the top floor, so you could go there at any point, restock on snacks. It's going to help you out because a lot of the missions in the Dre contract are shootouts. I also suggest turning on assisted aim if you're able to, because it just makes things a little bit easier. So once you've done those two things, it is now time to start up the first leak. Now, the way the Dr. Dre contract is structured is there's going to be 3 leaks. Essentially, you're retrieving leaked music of Dr. Dre's. You complete the 3, which are each mini heists, if you want to think about it that way. You have 2 setups plus a finale where you're actually retrieving the music. And then once you've done those 3 leaks, you're then going to have 2 finale missions. So for the first mission of the nightlife leak, you're going to go to a nightclub, retrieve some security tape, and head back to the agency. Fairly simple. There is a way to get through the nightclub stealthily, but I just personally go in guns blazing and take them out, because at some point you're going to break stealth. There's no point in actually trying to sneak around. Don't waste your time. Bring snacks with you, shoot them all down, take the security tape, and then take off. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. For the second mission of this leak, you're going to have to first off go to a marina, and there's going to be a green speedboat. Now, the first thing I'd suggest doing is there's going to be 2 security guards on the dock of the marina. Take those guys out first, because they are going to shoot you as soon as you get into that green speedboat. But once you get in, you have 2 different options. Essentially, what you need is to get the GPS location of a yacht, and you could do that just by getting in the speedboat. So if you get into it, you could actually exit it, hop on whatever vehicle you're using, and take off to the yacht if you'd like, if you have an oppressor. But for this example, I just decided to use a speedboat because I'm assuming that not everyone has the oppressor or different vehicles. It adds about a minute or 2 onto the process, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. So once you get onto the yacht, you'll have to hop on. There's going to be a bunch of enemies on the first level. You're first going to have to go to a checkpoint at the lower level. It's then going to direct you to get to the upper level to get into the cabin. Once you get into the cabin, there will be an enemy right directly on your left, so watch out for them. And then you have 2 things you could do here. The first thing is you could disable air defenses if you'd like. In our case, we don't need to, and I'll explain that why later on. But if you came to the yacht in something like an oppressor and you want to leave in your oppressor, then disabling air defenses is important. The second thing to do is on the left side, where we unlock the doors to the lower level. Once we get down to that level, we're going to have to find some evidence. There's 3 different locations, and I suggest starting off with the location at the top level at the bar, because there's less enemies to take out there. So go check if the evidence is there. I'm going to show you on screen where that evidence would be. There's that first location. The second and third location are actually on the lower level. They're going to be in some of the bedrooms, and there's going to be more enemies there. So just once again, use snacks, take cover, take your time. The first location in the bottom level is going to be here on the desk, and the second location is actually where I found mine. So those are the 3 different locations that they can be in. Once you've taken a picture of the evidence, you can then take off. But like I said before, if you have something like an oppressor or you came on an aerial vehicle, you're going to want to have those air defenses disabled and then take off. There will be 2 buzzards chasing you though. So what I personally do is I exit and then I let the buzzards take me out. And the reason why is because we then spawn far away from the yacht on one of these ski-doos, and then we can just take off from there. They're going to chase you down, but by spawning in that location, you're far enough away that the buzzards won't chase you down, they won't catch up to you, and it just makes a mission a little bit faster. So it's something I've just done. Let them take you out, hop on the ski-doo, and get going. The great thing about this mission though is that all you have to do is leave the area. Once you leave the area, then you could set your spawn location as the agency, load into a new invite-only session, and boom, we're now ready to start up the finale. Now the finale of the nightlife leak is pretty straightforward. You're essentially just going to the casino, bring snacks, bring a decent amount of ammo, make sure you stock up on ammo, and it's just going to be a shootout. Nothing much to it, just shoot, take cover, get through it methodically, and move on to the next thing. The second leak that we're going to do is the high society leak, and this is usually the one that gives people a little bit of a hard time, but there's quite a few shortcuts that we have here in this video that's going to help out with it. So for the first mission, it's pretty simple. You're going to have to first go to this certain location and hack a keypad. I personally park the agency helicopter right on this specific part of the roof because there's 2 different locations that the keypad and the entrance can spawn. This part here will allow you to access both without being spotted by the cameras. Once you get in, you just got to take out the security guards, hack one of the laptops, and then it's going to give you a location to an area where a limousine will be. The area I received for this video is a little bit different than the second location that you can get. In most cases, the limo is out in the open. If you just search the area with your helicopter, you'll be fine. But there is one secret location where I was, where it can sometimes be here in the underground passageway, so keep that in mind, but every other place is out in the open. Once you get to the limo, you can either, it will prompt you to tail it, but what you could just do is just take it out. If you have an oppressor, or like me, if you have the homing launcher, just blow up the limousine. You could then go steal the wallet from the driver's side door and then take it back to the agency. It saves you probably 5 minutes, maybe more, on that mission, so make sure to do that. The second mission for this leak is relatively straightforward. You're going to head over to a mansion where there's going to be a lawyer. You have to take out all the security guards, so you can't just breeze past them and miss a few guys. You will have to take them all out. There's 2 different locations where this can happen. The location that I got is a little bit more difficult than the other location. The other location, you can just run through and take everybody out. There's nothing special about it. For this location, I do suggest landing your helicopter or your vehicle on the roof of the building and then just going down each tier and taking out the security guards on each level. I found that's the easiest way to go about it. So you just hop down each level, take them out, hop down the next level, take them out. Makes the process a lot easier and a lot faster. Once you've done that, you would have been given a stun gun. Take the stun gun out, tase the lawyer, then you're going to put them in the trunk and take the car back to the agency. Easy as that. Now it is time for the finale. So for the finale, there's a few things to keep in mind. When you're driving to the mansion that you need to go to, make sure that you do not damage the car too much because you'll have to take it to Los Santos Customs. So drive relatively safely. When you get there, you're then going to obviously have to hack the keypad and then get in. The best way to go about this mission is to walk the exact route that I'm going. You're first going to have to go past the DJ booth, and then you're going to have to go up, or you should go up to this little balcony portion here, which is where you're going to take cover and attack all the security guards and cause a mess in this party. So the first part of this mission is you're going to have to cause enough commotion, enough intimidation to have the billionaire take off, and we'll get to that at a certain point. But from this location, you could do many different things. So the way I do it is when I get to here, I hide behind this wall or this little balcony portion. You're then going to toss over grenades, shoot a homing launcher, sticky bombs, whatever it may be, blow stuff up. You can also take out the security guards from here on both sides. You could take them out from the main portion of the party. You could also take them out from the left-hand side where they're coming up the stairs. Wait for them to get to the top and you could take them out from there. So it's a very covered position, which makes it a lot easier. About halfway through this process of intimidation, there will be a buzzard that comes from Los Santos, the downtown portion of the city. So this is also great. At that point, you could stand up, take out the homing launcher, and take out the buzzard. Once again, we're going to take cover again, and then from there, you just keep causing more commotion until that bar in the bottom right-hand corner fills all the way up, and the billionaire starts to take off. The billionaire is going to take off in a helicopter. And there's two things that could happen here. Either you can shoot the billionaire's helicopter down, and there's a health bar once again in the bottom right hand corner. Or if you don't do that, by the time he gets out to the water over near Fort Zancudo, he will then get on a yacht, and we don't want that to happen. So the easiest way to take out the helicopter is to take out a heavy sniper and repeatedly shoot it. I find about 8 to 10 shots from the heavy sniper takes it down completely. You can't lock onto it with a homing launcher or an RPG or anything, so you're going to need to use other types of weapons. That's the easiest way to do it. If you end up finding that you're falling behind on the helicopter, don't stress out. You have a long stretch of road to catch up to it and then shoot it down. Once you've successfully done that, it's going to land in the same spot every single time. It's going to be right next to the ocean. Head over to it. I personally like to curb stomp the billionaire just for giving me that much grief and trouble. We take whatever we need, and then we're going to take off. And when we're heading back to the agency, there's going to be quite a few of the enemies following after us, a bunch of security guards. So there's a couple ways we could go about it. One, you're right at Fort Zancudo, so you could do the OG 2013 thing and hop the fence at Fort Zancudo and take one of the jets to get back to the agency. I personally just drive back along the coast. It's not that difficult. The people chasing after us aren't that powerful, those AI, so either way works, but we bring it back to the agency, and now we're done the second leak. Finally, it is time for the South Central leak, the third leak. The first thing we're going to do for the first mission is pretty simple. You're stealing a bunch of the blue stuff, and then taking it back to one of our shops. So when you get to the meetup, an important thing to keep in mind is make sure you don't use stuff like RPGs or grenades too close to the van itself, because if you blow it up, the mission's over. So I personally just go in with guns and snacks, take out a bunch of the enemies. You're gonna have those gang members there with you as well. Very simple mission. And then from there, when you actually get the van, what I personally do is I drive towards North Los Santos, because there's two places you'll have to drop off the van, or one of two locations. They're both in North Los Santos, so start heading there. At some point, you will also get the cops on you. An easy way to get rid of them is just call up Lester. It actually works for this mission, so call up Lester, get rid of the cops, and at a certain point, I think it's a time thing. Let me know in the comment section down below if you know. But at a certain point, the lost MC stops chasing you, and you're good to go. Drop off the van, and the mission's over. The second mission, once again, is timed, which is pretty funny. You're gonna go to a big brawl. The easiest way to go about this is actually to go find a hiding spot and just wait. Because, like I said, this is the timed mission. So you're gonna have to wait until the cops show up. At a certain point, the cops will show up, everybody's gonna scatter, and then you're gonna have to follow your boy to one of the garages, wait for him to interrogate one of the opposing gang members, I guess, and then the mission's over. Very simple. Like, really, this leak is much easier than the first two. And the final mission for the leak is you're going to go essentially to another shootout, and at a certain point, I guess their gang leader is going to hop into one of the lowrider cars and try to drive away. If you can, there's actually a possibility that when the cutscene ends, that you could actually turn around, if you have auto aim on or assisted aim on, get the target on his head and take him out right away. But if not, chase him down, shoot him while he's driving, take the car and bring it back to the agency. You ideally want to do it relatively quickly though, because at a certain point he will actually reach another gang location where you're then going to have to take out more enemies, so doing it faster is the best way to do it. And with those 3 leaks done, it is now time for the 2 finale missions. The first one is you're going to be breaking into the studio and protecting Dr. Dre. Now, this one is relatively simple, it's just a little bit annoying. First, outside of the studio, I just used an RPG or a homing launcher, take out a bunch of the enemies in their cars, and then I actually just run them over with my car, because I just find it a little fun. You could do this faster, but I don't really care. The next part is to actually go inside the studio. So when you get into it, you're going to have to take out a bunch of enemies throughout the entire studio section here. Halfway through it, once you get into the larger main room with all the instruments and all that kind of stuff, there will be some enemies that spawn back at the beginning. So keep an eye out from enemies coming up from behind you. Take everybody out. You're going to have to take out all of the assassins or the enemies, and then you're going to be able to head over to the studio and watch this beautiful cutscene with Dr. Dre and whoever this is. that's going to be the end of that mission. The first time through, you're going to earn $100,000 as a bonus for this, but every other time, it's just normal amounts of money. And now it's time for the actual finale. Once again, ammo and snacks are going to be your best friend, and armor, if you want to go that route too. So the first portion of the mission, you're going to have to head over to this meetup location. You're then just going to take cover and shoot, and take out all the enemies. Once you've taken out all the enemies, and by the way, I suggest using homing launcher, RPG, railgun, all that, you whip out all the weapons. It's going to help in this situation. But once you take them all out, you're then going to be given the location to go over to one of the hangars at the LSIA airport. You get there, and now it's time for the very final portion of the Dr. Dre contract. So once again, there's going to be a ton of enemies in here. Take them out as you go. Once you get into the actual hangar, if you do happen to be killed, don't worry, it actually spawns you in a good location on the other side of the hangar where you can take out all the enemies that you couldn't see before. So very easy mission, take them all out. It'll probably take you a few minutes to do so. Like I said, make sure you use your snacks. And then the final thing you're gonna have to do is to injure Johnny. So the way to do that I found is if you were to go up the stairs and go up to him, he has a shotgun, he could take you out right away. So I actually go over to a section over here, you can see on screen, and I shoot him from below a few times with an automatic rifle. That injures him, and then I can go up top, pick him up, and bring him over to Dr. Dre. And that's pretty much the mission done. At that point, we then just drive Dr. Dre to wherever he needs to go, he takes off, and we've made our money. While there are a lot of parts to this contract, it is pretty fun, and it's relatively easy to replay once you get used to it. So I hope this video helped, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.